Hi everyone, it's Deb of Deb Loves Jewelry, and I'm back with a video that had to be remade. So this is a video that is part of my Found and Finding Jewelry series, and it was some of my earliest videos on this page. So if you are a subscriber, you may have seen these videos already. If you're not, I'd love for you to like the video, subscribe, and join me for all the fun videos that you can find here in the past and in the future. So please subscribe and please like the video, whether you are old or new to my page. So thank you for being here. I have a series of videos here that are related to finding jewelry. So finding jewelry that you can wear, finding jewelry that you can resell, finding jewelry that you can harvest from to make other jewelry. And my focus has been on really all of those things for a really long time. So, but my default is making jewelry. So I am a jewelry designer and I love to make jewelry. It is my passion. But the underlying current there is I have a passion for jewelry. So I talk a lot in the previous videos about how you can find pieces of jewelry. So in your own jewelry box, at yard sales and at places that are clearing out some old merchandise and that kind of thing. But one of the main things that you can do to gain some collections of jewelry is you can go to all the multitude of online sources, and there are a ton of them. And there's some do's and don'ts and some tips and tricks for all of them. I'm going to generalize for the most part, but I'll give you some specifics here and there. So let's talk about finding a lot. So a lot of jewelry is like a big collection or a small collection, a collection of pieces of jewelry. And I search for that. And I also search for jewelry making supplies or a lot of beads. And the thing is, you can do searches for all of the above, and you can modify those searches and find different ways to find these kinds of bulk purchases. So I'll say that my primary experience has been with eBay. So eBay's been around for a really long time. And back in my early jewelry making days, when I was trying to build up my stash of beads and supplies, I found that searching for bead lots and jewelry making supplies in that site led me to lots of collections of things that people were either trying to sell off. Maybe they were destashing their studio. There's a variety of things that people do out there online. And on eBay, they can sell, single items or big lots of items. And I got many a package that made me joyful because I got a lot of material to work with as a jewelry maker. Now, I also have purchased lots of jewelry, sometimes wearable jewelry and sometimes jewelry that is in need of repair or is broken and that kind of thing. And that allowed me to take things apart, but I'm not opposed to taking things apart. So if I do buy a bulk purchase of jewelry, it sometimes is hard for me to take things apart, but I study up on what it is that's available, and and then from there I decide what I'm going to do. And if I do purchase a lot, because I am a reseller of jewelry, I am a jewelry designer, I am a collector of jewelry, I may get a lot that I do all of those things with. I may keep some things for myself, maybe some pretty earrings or something. And then I may resell some of the jewelry. And then there are other things that I'll cut up and I'll use in my own designs, or I'll stash away for future designs. So that's how I approach these things. And whatever the case is, I wanted to share what I've learned and maybe what's been helpful for me. So let's start with eBay. So eBay has really evolved over the years. There's so much availability of material, but that also comes with the evolution of pricing and shipping costs. So something to be mindful of with eBay searches is that you always need to be aware of how much things cost and the auction value, and also shipping. So the cool thing is if you routinely search for the same kinds of things, which I do other, random searches too. But if you are often searching for jewelry supplies or beads or jewelry for repair, you can create those searches and save them. You can also have emails sent to you and text messages sent to you. And when new listings come up that match that search criteria, they tell you about it. And so you can get in and either jump into an auction or be the first to do a buy it now. So that's a way that you can just always pop into your app and go look at the new listings. You can, favorite, put a heart on the listing, and you can watch it. So you can watch your listing. If you see something, but you're not sure about it, you want to think about it, you can put it in your watch list and you can keep an eye on it. Now, especially if it's an auction, you may want to be strategic about it and not necessarily bid right away, but keep an eye on the auction, how the price is going, and decide if at some point you want to throw your hat in the ring. I find auctions pretty challenging, especially for the things that I always seem to like the most. But big lots of things, the price will go up considerably because there's a lot of people like me that are out there searching for great, fun things. I always get something in these lots that I've never seen before or have never had access to. So that's really fun. So it's like a little bit of a treasure hunt. And I find that a lot of other people like to do treasure hunting as well. So, you have a buy it now option on some auctions. So they may put it up for auction, but also offer a buy it now. You can decide, depending on where that auction is headed, if you want to take that chance. Coffee break. So, you can decide how you want to set up your watch list, how you want to get your searches ready to go. I have probably about 4 or 5 searches that I routinely look at. My saved searches are lot of jewelry supplies, jewelry supply lot, jewelry wire lot. And then I think I've got one that's like jewelry findings, and then costume jewelry lot. And I get hits on them pretty routinely. And then when I actually go and proactively search, you can do some toggling of what you want to search. So you can even say, I want to search the newest item first, or the newest listings first, or the oldest listings first, or the auctions first. So there's so much flexibility in finding things on eBay and other sites as well. eBay, I have found, has really become very, very easy to use and very, very user-friendly for searching and finding things and that sort of thing. Now, I want to tell you about a couple of things that I do because I find myself often enamored with something that I see. So sometimes when you go and search for lots, someone will post a bag. So they'll put a bag like this in the photo, and you can't really see what's in here. Like, you can maybe, go into the, expand the photo and maybe see a few of the things. But a lot of times when those kinds of photos are put up there and those are the only photos, that's the best you're going to get for knowing what your purchase is going to be. So you have to decide, do you want to make a purchase for something like that, knowing that you've only seen a few of the things? So you'll want to evaluate price and shipping and all of that to assess if it's something that you really, really want. Now, some sellers literally lay out everything. So they might have a bunch of charms, a bunch of, little beads and things, and they lay them all out and photograph. I love that. I don't know how they do that. I've toyed with, I've done a few sales myself of lots like that. And it's so time consuming to do that, prep that, get that all ready. But the cool thing about that is you can really see what you're getting. And you'll have to look in the comments too to make sure that what they're selling is what you're seeing. Sometimes you'll see a very cool montage of photos of some cool things over here and a pile of things over there. And when you read the description, it says, these are examples of what you might receive. And I don't really like that kind of risk, because I feel like I have no idea what I'm getting. And, if I'm feeling really adventurous, maybe I'll do something like that. But it's a gamble. And sometimes you have to know that sellers are trying to sell some good things to get your attention, but also get rid of some things too. So it's a gamble. So that is a true treasure hunt. That is a really fun way to, just dig through something, but you have to know that, you're probably not going to use it all. Now, that being said, even when they're all laid out, like let's say there's 600 things on a table, maybe some charms, maybe some beads, maybe some designs that were already created that are full-on jewelry, wearable jewelry. You may not like everything that you see. Now, I force myself. So I've been doing this for a long time. So I have to force myself not to fall in love with that one thing. So for example, if I saw this pendant, this is an Egyptian cat pendant, cool pendant. If I saw that and said, oh, I love that pendant, I have to have this. Well, do I want to spend like $80, which might be the value of the lot, to get that one pendant? Probably not. So you want to look at what else is there. So maybe you see something else you like, a piece of chain. Maybe you see a bag of gemstone beads, and you start to then look at it like, okay, is this a good enough of investment for me? Because I know I'm going to get some things I'm going to really, really love, and then maybe some things I don't. And I force myself to look at every item in the listing. So if it's a picture of all the, 600 things, I'm scanning and looking at all of them. And I'm assessing, yes, no, yes, no, yes, 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 no. Like, will I use it? Will it be useful to me in some way? Is it something I think I can resell? So I'm looking at it through those lenses, and I make myself look at everything, because I have at times found that silly pendant and I buy the whole thing, and then I get all this stuff and I'm like, not everything is great. Now, chances are, if you're buying a big lot, you're going to have things you don't like. You're probably going to have pieces and parts that are just, not something you would use. Now, maybe what you do with that is you trade with friends or give some things to friends. Maybe you can donate to a school for crafty things. Or maybe you can resell, take the things you don't want, you put them on eBay and sell them. So there's different ways to approach a purchase like that, but you have to factor in the cost. You have to factor in the shipping, because very often these boxes of things are heavy. Believe it or not, boxes of beads and components and jewelry are heavy. So the shipping these days is crazy. So shipping is another consideration. Do you want to spend $30 or $40 on top of the purchase that you're already making to get that to you? Now, some ways to counteract that. Sometimes a seller will specialize in lots of jewelry or jewelry making supplies, and maybe you can combine some boxes or some lots in order to get maybe get a discount on shipping. Sometimes, they'll accept an offer, and sometimes they'll combine shipping. So that may be helpful to you when you want to acquire a lot of these things. But it is certainly a great way to get lots of extra supplies, lots of extra material to work with if you're a designer. Now, if you're picking up jewelry, it's a great way for you to get a bunch of things for resale or a bunch of things for you to wear. So it depends on the purpose of the purchase that you're making. Again, I do a lot of all of that. So for me, I'm just weighing all of the various options. Can I use it to design with? Can I use it to wear? Can I gift some things? Can I resell? So just a lot of different perspectives for me, but maybe for you, it's for one solo purpose. So you'll have to assess that purchase against what your purpose is. So eBay is great. I have also come to really enjoy Mercari. So maybe you haven't heard of Mercari. It's spelled Mercari. You can get the app. You can set up an account. And it's very similar to eBay in that people are selling things, anything you can think of for the most part. And they allow you to save searches. They allow you to get notifications. There's all kinds of things that you can do to be reminded when new things come for sale. So I do the same thing. I save searches there. And what I like about Mercari is they have a way that you can make an offer, and you can offer on a bundle of things too. So eBay hasn't quite really gotten that down. Coffee break. Completely yet, but Mercari allows you to make an offer, and they'll actually calculate the percentage for you. Like if you want to ask them for 20% off, it will actually do the calculation. You don't have to do the math. That's cool. So it's a great site, and I found that the sellers there have been great. I've really enjoyed it. I haven't yet sold anything there, although I've thought about it. I'm thinking about it. Might put a few things out there at some point myself. But I've found jewelry lots and jewelry supply lots, bead lots, and some interesting things. In fact, some of my favorite supply acquisitions were through Mercari. Just a couple of years ago, or maybe it was only a year ago, I acquired a bunch of beautiful chain and charms and things, really high quality. And the person had multiple lots. So I put them all together. I made an offer, and she combined shipping. And what a wonderful package that was to receive. So again, do the same thing there. Look at the photos, read the description. It's important for you to know what you're getting. And if If the picture is intriguing enough, a lot of sellers will say, ask for more pictures. I've found that to be like 50-50 success rate. Some of them will, some of them won't. So, but ask. If you're on the fence about something, ask them. Send them a message. Say, I'm interested in this lot, but your bag picture is not enough for me. Can you can you dump it out and photograph it, so I can see what's in there? Again, 50-50 that will happen. But if it does, that may help you to make your decision. And ask questions in general. So you don't have to ask for more photos, but you can ask for more information. Some things so it's a gamble. Even with all of that being said, you asked questions, you looked at the photos, you read the description, you weighed out what you think you're going to do with that. And sometimes what you get is disappointing. So my worst purchase was probably about 3 years ago now. It was an eBay purchase. And what I received was a large package, I was expecting one large package of miscellaneous charms and jewelry supplies and pendants and all kinds of fun things previously owned. And when I opened up the package, the smell of smoke was totally overwhelming. I'm allergic to smoke, so I'm incredibly sensitive to it. But my husband came in the room and said, "Oh my God, what is that?" It was so heavily smoke laden that I swear, like somebody carried it around with them while they were smoking a cigarette for like a month. I wrote to the seller and I said, "Look," I said, "I never would have purchased this." But their policy was no return. And, that's my policy too, as an eBay seller. Sometimes a seller will agree to something, a partial reimbursement or maybe a refund, but chances are they're not going to take something like that back. So you have to be ready for that. You have to be aware that sometimes there may be disappointment. And that was actually one that I had seen all the pieces. Like they laid out everything nicely on a table, good, close-ups of the pieces. And oh my gosh, I was so upset. I was able to salvage some of it. So, you can clean some things, you can fumigate things, but there were some porous things that just couldn't be salvaged, and they ended up in the garbage because just the smell of it in my studio was horrendous. So you have to be conscious that sometimes you're going to take a risk and it's not going to turn out well for you. But that's part of the gamble and part of the treasure hunt. So just something for you to think about. Now, there's also some other interesting ways that you can find jewelry or jewelry making supplies, and that's through some of the thrift stores. So over the years, and actually starting kind of back in the pandemic days, some of the thrift stores were trying to find creative ways to sell down their donations. And at that time, they were receiving record donations because people were cooped up in their houses and clearing stuff out. So they started selling online, and Shop Goodwill, and they started selling things and doing auctions. And so if you go to shopgoodwill.com, you can sign up for their website, get yourself all set up so that you can bid on auctions, and you can find all kinds of things. So you can also save searches there. You can get notifications there. Very similar to eBay or other online sellers. And I find that they do a pretty good job, and it has improved over time. So with jewelry, you can search for just like, silver necklaces, and you'll see somebody, has a silver necklace for sale, with a pendant or something. But there's also lots of bulk purchase jewelry, and they break it down, costume, vintage, and they will put pictures out. And sometimes they're really, really good pictures. They're kind of stylized, and there's things hanging on cool things, and they've got displays. And so it's very, very, it's very, very dependent on the location where these items come from. So they come from all the participating thrift locations across the country. So, some place in South Carolina could be great, but a location in New York, not so good, just depends. And I've purchased also craft boxes of jewelry making supplies and beads and that sort of thing. And sometimes you get great pictures and sometimes you don't, similar to eBay. So I follow those same guidelines for myself. I look at everything and I decide, do I really want to invest? Because they usually have packages in like pound size. So you can get a 5-pound box or a 20-pound box or a 50-pound box. And that's a lot of stuff, A, and B, it's a lot of shipping expense. So similar to anywhere else, shipping is going to be part of your decision making. So I've had some cool things that I've gotten through some Goodwill boxes. And you can also find what's called a blue box, which is kind of like the last chance. Like, we're getting rid of this box of stuff, and they do blue boxes of t-shirts and sneakers and jewelry, and they release them at a certain time every week. So I think my emails come and tell me on Friday. I think they are like 6 p.m. Eastern time on Friday, and they release the boxes. There's only so many. You click on it, you purchase, and you get, you basically get a surprise mystery box. And those are actually fun. I've like, that's a fun treasure hunt, but you will get some things that you don't want, that are not anything you would ever use. And, with any kind of craft lot, you might have tarnishing, you have things that are broken, you have jewelry that has missing rhinestones, but maybe that's the kind of stuff that you want so that you can work with it. And maybe you can use it for other crafts like collages or mosaics or something like that. Some people take pieces and parts and make Christmas trees with pinning in all the little pieces and parts. So it's fun. I've found that sometimes I get some really awful stuff, and it is what it is. But once in a while, it's kind of a fun endeavor to do some picking in. There's also America's Thrift that does a similar box, and their box is, I think, a set weight. I can't remember the weight, but it's about $34 or $35. I think it's $34.99 plus shipping. And that box, I've gotten them a few times. The second time I got a box from them, it was a jewelry box. So it was intended for, there would be some wearable jewelry and some not. And I got a package of like 1980s clip-on earrings that were like this big around. And they were all kind of denim-y, faux denim with color and print on them. And there was a bag like this big, and it took up half the box. And I was like, really? That's how you're filling up the box with 50 pairs of earrings that look the same? That happened to me a second time after that. And so I haven't gone back since that time, because I just like, really, I don't need, this isn't what I'm looking for. And maybe in some circles that could be good resale. But it was just such old stock, new old stock, that it just wouldn't have been anything I could have done anything with. But that's the risk. Again, it's a gamble. But, try and understand what you're getting, read up on it. A lot of those thrift places will talk through them as mystery boxes or, box o' goodies. You find out what's in it. So I just suggest if you're going to do that, just know that it's going to be a gamble. And maybe something you can do is go in on one with a friend. So if you want to get like a $50 blue box from Goodwill, split it with a friend and have them come over, grab some coffee or some wine and sit down and go through it. And you can haggle over who gets to take what and then who gets to drop the rest off at Goodwill. So that someone else can find treasure that maybe you didn't want. So, so that's kind of, I'm sure there's more that I can tell you about this. So maybe there'll be a part 2 to this particular found and finding jewelry segment. But I just, I love jewelry. I love a good treasure hunt. And if you go back and watch my other found and finding jewelry videos, I've got some other tips and tricks on how you can find jewelry for yourself, find jewelry to resell, find jewelry to cut up and make something else from. There's so many sources and so many different ways to think about it. And so I just wanted to share like how things work for me and how I do things, and maybe you'll get a couple of tips and tricks out of it. So stay tuned for more videos. Stay tuned for maybe more installments of this particular series. And if you are already a subscriber of Deb Loves Jewelry, I'm so grateful. Thank you for watching. Please like and share if you can. If you're not already a subscriber, I would love for you to join me and subscribe. I've got some tutorials. I've got some fun things here or there, some tips or tricks, and sometimes content like this. So please join me, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you all again. Have a wonderful day. Deb is heading out. We'll see you later.